Okay, well, a very warm welcome. Delighted to be here in Kiev. Super to see you all, and I hope you're all having a good fair. And my name is Michael Carslaw. I'm the headmaster of St Leonards School in St Andrews in Scotland. Thank you. And I'm here to talk about the IB, the International Baccalaureate Diploma, and all about this qualification. A little bit about my school, first of all. My school is called St Leonards. We are a boarding and day school in St Andrews, in a small university town of 17,000 people in the east coast of Scotland. We have 530 or so students, and we have about between 25 and 30 nationalities on the school roll. We're 80% Scottish, though, 80% Scottish in the UK. And these are some students outside the 11th century chapel that is in our school grounds as well. And they're starting their school day, and you'll see them. And you'll see this in all the schools at this conference. They are all schools of this caliber as well. So what I will talk about is the International Baccalaureate Diploma, which is the qualification that is comparable to A-levels. And what I will do is I will talk a little bit about the differences between IB and A-levels, but I will focus mainly on the IB because we are a school that specializes in the IB. And if you look at the IB, it is not just a diploma program. When people talk about the IB, they normally mean the last 2 years of school. But in fact, the IB starts from age 4 years on. And you can start doing the IB primary years program, and then you can move on for the ages 5 to 11. And then the IB middle years program, which we do from age 12 to 14. And then we do GCSE, IGCSE, from age 14 to 16. And then finally, the IB diploma program, which is at the end of your schooling, the last 2 years of schooling, your pre-university qualification, between 16 and 18 or so years old. And the IB has another program called the IB Career-Related Program, or CP as well, which is a more vocational program. So the IB covers all ages from age 4 to 19. But I'm just going to talk about the last 2 years, the diploma. A little bit about GCSEs and IGCSEs. This would be the same for most of the schools at this fair today. At GCSEs, we divide the GCSE program into what we call core, and then we have subjects that we call groups, Group 1, Group 2, Group 3, and so on. And the groups follow the IB pattern. You'll see groups, we talk about groups a lot when we're talking about the IB. So Group 1 is your native language, which will be English language or literature for most of the students at our school. Group 2 would be a second language, which at St Leonards would normally be French or German or Spanish or another language such as that. Group 3 is a humanity, like history and geography. Group 4, the science, biology, chemistry, and physics. Group 5, mathematics. Group 6, the creative subjects, like art, music, drama, and other subjects such as computer studies as well, which are options available too. And at the core, and you'll find this in all the schools here, at the core, there's a lot about sport, what we call games. For example, at our school, we will do rugby, football, hockey, golf, tennis, athletics. We're actually in the home of golf. And also at the core is all about being a good citizen and all those good qualities in life that you need to be to become a good person. For example, personal, social, and health education, citizenship, ethics. We do a religious studies course as well, which is more of an ethics course that fits in with being a good person in life. And at St Leonards, we refer to this as our pre-IB program. And then we move on to the next step, which is the IB diploma for the last 2 years of schooling. And it is a widely accepted and well understood pre-university alternative. It's an alternative to A-levels and other national qualifications. It's an international qualification. And it is a very well-rounded program. It looks at the whole person. The philosophy behind the IB is that everything you do is a learning opportunity. You can learn from anything you do, not just what happens in the classroom, but when you're outside the classroom, in activities or whatever else you're doing. And one of the principles behind the IB is almost like a learning cycle of learning, reflecting, acting. So you learn something, you reflect on it, and then you act on it. And you will see that cycle repeated throughout the IB program. And it's very much applies to everything, whether it's in the classroom or outside the classroom. And the other important thing about the IB is that it stresses the importance of what are called soft skills. Those skills like collaborating, working in a team, working with other people. You may not get on with them, but you have to work with them. And the IB is very good at developing those skills about working with other people and really being able to learn, reflect, and then act. And you become very used as an IB student to presenting and communicating. Things like this will, like me, I could expect one of my IB students to stand in my place. I would have an expectation that they could stand in my place and present to you in a similar manner. That's my expectation. And as a result, the IB is a very good qualification at university. It fits you in very well to the way that you will learn at university and also in life, in work, in the 21st century. These are the kind of skills that people need in the 21st century to be a success. And as a result, the qualification is very much in demand from universities around the world. I talk to university people a lot, and they say that they can recognize the IB students because they have this particular way of working and understanding how to study. And if you look at the IB, it is represented, the diploma program is represented, you will see this on their website. And it is at the center, if you look at the center of this diagram, at the center, at the core, at the heart of everything we do, are the approaches to teaching and the approaches to learning. And that is at the core of the IB program. And this is one of the most researched academic programs in the world, teaching programs in the world. There's been a lot of research done as to how this could be done effectively. And if you look at the core there, around the core, we have three things, something called theory of knowledge, something called extended essay, and also something called creativity, activity, and service. And they are at the heart of the IB. And everybody does this. All IB students will follow this core. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on. If you look at the next circle outside that, these are now the academic subjects. So we're moving out into the academic subjects. And you'll see that all students will study, their own language. They will also learn how to acquire another language, a second language. They will all study a science. They will all study mathematics. They will all study a humanity, what may be termed individuals and societies. And they will all do something creative as well in the arts too. And on the outside of this is, the IB is a very international-minded qualification. It was really devised more than 60 years ago by people following the Second World War who wanted to enable children that when they grew up, not to fight each other. The world had gone through a really terrible time. And a group of academics and other educationalists came together to devise a curriculum that was very international-minded, that would really work for peace around the world. So it's a very idealistic qualification too. And looking at the subjects here, students will study 6 subjects. They study 3 subjects at higher level, which is a more advanced level, and 3 subjects at standard level. And everybody will study their first language, which would be English or another native language as well. And we can offer Russian or Ukrainian as a self-taught subject, and we have about 5 or 6 native languages taught at St. Leonards. And then everybody will study a second language, which for most of the students would be French or German or Spanish, or we also offer Italian, Mandarin, there's a range of other languages as well, and of course English, if English is not your first language. And again, there everybody would study a humanity, which could be either economics or history or geography. I don't want to read all the subjects out, but you will build everybody will do a humanity. We also offer business management, psychology, very popular course, ITGS, information technology in global societies, and then a science, studying biology, chemistry, and physics, or computer science, or sports and exercise and health science. And then everybody will study mathematics, or what is called math studies, which I may term as math studies is for people who do not want to carry on with maths later on in life. And then the group 6 is a creative subject. And if you wanted to, say for example, become a doctor, you would study biology in group 4, chemistry in group 6, mathematics in group 5 at high level. And then you would study maybe English and German, let's say, for group 1 and group 2, and then psychology maybe at standard level. Well, mathematics at high level, biology at high level, chemistry at high level. And then the other 3 subjects you could choose, make your own choice. If you wanted to, say, become a lawyer, you would study, let's say, history at high level, economics at high level, and maybe English literature at high level, or your own native language at high level. And if you wanted to go into business, you could do business management at high level, again, psychology maybe at high level. The choice is yours. There's a wide range of choices that you can make for your subjects. And engineering, maths high level, physics high level, computer science high level. The list is endless. To say a little bit more, if maths is not important in your career, you're not very good at maths, then normally you would study maths studies, which is like a mathematics for life course. If you if you are very interested in the creative subjects, you can study a subject called environmental systems and societies. And what that means is that you can then study art and music together, or art and drama together. If I can use as an example, my daughter went to study musical theatre in New York, and she studied theatre and art and environmental systems because she didn't like science so much, and math studies because she didn't like math so much. But she did English language and literature at a high level because she liked reading and creating. And if you like learning languages, you can learn a language from beginning, from scratch, as we call it, ab initio. So you can learn Italian or Japanese or Mandarin. You can learn those from the beginning if that is your interest. And some students will just do 4 out of the 6 subjects, so you don't have to do the whole program, but we recommend that everybody does the whole program to achieve their diploma. And at the core, if you remember, I was talking about those things that make up the center of the program. Everybody does. And everybody will do something called creativity, activity, and service. And it could be getting involved in a drama production. You may not want to act. It may be the last thing you want to do, but you can help behind the stage, behind the scenes, and help with the production and get a feeling for that world, which maybe, if you were doing another course, that would be close to you. You would not feel any obligation to do it. You can do something musical. A lot of students doing the diploma will start a new instrument. They will go and start playing the piano or the flute or something like that. They will start it from beginning. They can also do something called Duke of Edinburgh, which is outdoor expeditions and going out and hiking into the mountains and doing that sort of thing and finding out another side of your personality there. Or community service, helping in the community. We have a number of students who will teach, who will help in our junior school for our very small students. And it's very interesting for them to find out what a Ukrainian student is like, because for them, they're from Scotland, they're from a small town in Scotland, and it's very interesting for them to see other students from all over the world coming and talking to them. And some of our Ukrainian students will do that as their service. And it is all project-based. Everything in CAS is to do with a project. You have to plan it, organize it, remember, learn, reflect, act, and there is always an outcome. For example, one group of students devised a game of Quidditch. Do you know Harry Potter? Muggle Quidditch? And they played the first game in St Andrews. They got some teams together, they raised money for charity, and that went to a good cause. They then went down to the Houses of Parliament in London and spoke about what they'd done. The other thing you have to do is an extended essay. So if you want to be an engineer, you write an extended essay about some engineering product. If you want to be a lawyer, you write an extended essay about some legal issue that interests you. If you want to study history, you write about a historical issue that interests you. If you want to be a doctor, you write an extended essay about a study to do with medicine, genetic engineering, let's say. If you want to be an actor or go into music or theatre, like my daughter, you write an extended essay about a musical like South Pacific. So you can do anything there. And our students tell us this is very, very helpful when they go to university because they know how to write, they know how to reference, they know all of these things before they go to university. And that is quite unusual in university students. And then finally, all the students do a course on theory of knowledge, which to me is one of the most important things that they can do, particularly in this world of fake news. How do we know the truth? How do we know that people are telling us the truth? What is the difference between a creative truth, an artistic truth, a scientific truth, and so on? And this is a fantastic course which enables students to work out, really, how can I find out if I am being told the truth? How can I say things in a truthful manner? How can I identify that? How can I think critically? Now, the IB is assessed on a point score. So you get 7 points for every subject. You do 6 subjects, you get 7 points, a maximum of 7 points. That is a total of 42 points. You get 3 points for your extended essay and theory of knowledge. So the maximum you can possibly get is 45 points. You are assessed at the end of 2 years. It's a 2-year course in the main. And if you get 45 points, only about 200 students in the world will get 45 points. I think there are more Nobel Prize winners than people who have got 45 points at the IB. I may be wrong on that, but it is a very outstanding score to get 45 points. And the world average is about 29, 30 points or so. To get into Oxford or Harvard, you'd need around about 38, 39 points as a minimum. But the level for all universities, it will move up. You will get, to get a diploma, you need 24 points. And that will get you into a pretty good university as well. Up to 30 points, even better. 38, 39 points, you can target the best universities in the world. For example, at St Leonards, 100% of our students who applied to university have got into university. And 88% got into their first choice. We can target the universities very, very precisely using the IB program. And yeah, don't take my word of it. I have some quotes here. It may be worth just translating them to just say how the universities look on the IB. I have a quote here from King's College in London, top 20 world university. 20% of their undergraduates are IB undergraduates, 20% of their intake. I won't spend too long on this, but this is a survey of university admissions officers that is taken every year. And again, if you look at those skills like encouraging independent inquiry, developing workplace skills, nurturing an open mind, developing self-management skills, these are 21st century skills, developing global awareness and connectivity. The IB performs better than A-levels, and also I put in there Scottish Highers, the qualification from my country. And I've said everything. I think this is just really a summary. I'll just go through a survey from the CBI, the Confederation of British Industries. What is the most important thing they are looking for in school and college leavers? The most important thing is their attitude to work. How do you approach your studies, your aptitude for work? And again, I think the IB gives that very, very strongly. And I'll just show you, this is our graduating class. And if you go to any of the schools at this conference, your sons or daughters will be standing rather like that. That is the St Leonards students graduating. They've finished their diploma. They're off into the world. They're very, very lucky young people. And I'm sure that you will find a school here that will suit your son or daughter, and they will be in the same situation as these smiling students.
The question is about the languages. Is it okay for a student from Ukraine to take English as the first language on the IB program? The English level is pretty good.
Yep.
And the second language I should like to take is German.
Yeah.
And the second question, what the exam do they have while studying English as a first language? And then, so what does it mean in terms of the examination to study a language as their first?
Okay. You can study English as your first language. The IB divide languages into 3 categories. Language A, which is your first language, language B, your second language, and ab initio for beginners. But if your English is very good, you can start with English. That's not a problem. And in fact, we have a student upstairs, Yaroslav, who is at St. Leonards just now. He is studying English as his first language and German as his second language. So that is no problem at all. And you can be assessed. You will be assessed in the same way as every other student. So if you're through at a language A quality, then that is no problem for entry into a UK university. Your level of English will be fine. In fact, if you do language B at high level, that is also fine for most UK universities as well.
The question is about the English language exam. What is consist of?
You have to do an oral exam where your spoken English will be discussed. You'll have to discuss some poetry or some unseen work. It depends if you're doing English literature or English language and literature. There are 2 courses there. If you're interested in books and literature, you do English literature. If you're more interested in communication and presentation and those sort of things, then you would normally study English language and literature. So there are 2 possibilities for you. Thank you very much.